All right. Good morning, everybody. I know that we'll have folks straggling in. All right. There is coffee. There's some cookies out there in the pre-function area. Come on in, come on in, come on in. This side is full of Presbyterians all the way in the back. It's full of Presbyterians. Maybe some former Baptists will come and sit right up front. Jennifer, you should know, but you're a PK. You should be in the front. Yeah. PKs have spent a lot of time up front. Yeah. All right, I'm going to open in prayer. Katie, we just shut that? Thank you. Shut that door. Leave the other one. We can leave that one open, Chris, for people to come in. I want to make sure they feel welcome to come in. It's good to see all of you. And let me open with prayer, and we'll get right into it. Lord, thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for all that you have done that has come before, the shoulders of the giants that we stand on when it comes to this church, when it comes to this campus. Having just been on a tour with our historian, Moncure Crowder, and thinking about the story that brought us to this place and your spirit that led Dr. Lyons and the congregation, and all the intentionality and the thought that went into creating this campus. We're humbled, and we realize that we didn't start this. But we do know that we're called to be a part of it today. So to that end, we'd ask that this conversation, this time would give us what we need to know, would inspire us, would encourage us, would stir in us questions that we might have, and most importantly, would see all of this capital project as an opportunity to bear witness to your good news for our members, our friends, our neighbors in Atlanta, and throughout the world. We pray in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, well, I want to go through the agenda so you can know what we're talking about and what we're going to do today. And I hope to cover all of this, including Q&A, in about 45 minutes. So first I want to begin with some thank yous. I'll do that in just a moment. I want to review our timeline from when we started this process, how we started the capital project process, and where we are today. I want to give a fundraising update so that we can have a sense of where we are in our from the economic side of the project. I also want to work through a revised budget that is going to look a little bit different from what we had approved as a session back in May of 2022 and where we are right now. I want to give an update on the Smith Building, what's happening over there, and where we are and what we can expect in the coming months. I also want to talk a little bit about what we're calling the pivot plan that session has recently approved that ties into the revised budget, and this will make sense when we get the slides up for you, and then have a time of Q&A. Tim, are we live streaming this too? Yeah, okay. Welcome everybody who's online. Also know that we're going to record this, so it'll be available, and the deck, the PowerPoint, will be available also online so that you can have that and look at it as at your leisure. So first, I want to just go through the capital team, the capital project team, and just some thank yous. Jim Hassan is on this team, trustee emeritus. Ben Hudgens, who's a currently serving elder, is on this team. Mary Claire Alveen, who's a trustee emerita, and then our chair and trustee emeritus, John McCall. And these four have really been at the front and the forefront of decision-making and working with others. And I just want to give them a round of applause for their work. I know John McCall is here. Where's John? There. Mary Claire's at her first college parents' weekend in Colorado, and I'm not sure I see Ben or or Jim here? Ben's at Disney World. Okay. So we also have 4 key staff that are a part of this. Me, Molly Faircloth, our Chief Administrative Officer, of course, Craig Anderson, who's our Facilities Director, and then Gavin, who's our Creative Director, and he has been doing the updates on the website and also with the email blasts in terms of project updates. And also want to just highlight Da Vinci Development Collaborative, which are sort of our project managers on the ground and working with us throughout this process. There's a lot of folks who have work in this space, and one group that I haven't put on here that I should have was Hauser Walker, continues to work with us, and an incredible firm, and has given a lot of time and energy and imagination to this project. So I want to talk just a little bit about the timeline, just how we got to where we are, and it spans really the course of 7 years. In April of 2016, we launched a long-range strategic planning process. That plan, that team met every other week, twice a month through the early fall, eventually presenting the long-range strategic plan, which included a new mission statement, new values, and 7 key goals. It was approved by session, and then I introduced it to the congregation in early 2017 in a sermon series that I'm sure you all remember. And then in November of 17, you might remember that we were launching teams to help address the goals that emerged in the long-range strategic plan. And we launched a team, a bigger team than the 4 you saw on the screen, a team of about 18 people to do the campus master planning process and to start that. That happened in November of 2017. November of 2018, Hauser Walker was hired to lead the campus master planning program. You remember that then throughout that fall and into the summer, there were surveys, there were conversations as Hauser Walker was building this campus plan. In January of 20, the plan was approved by session. It was presented to the congregation over a 3-week period. Some of you might remember that. All those videos are online as well, so you can go back and see that. A lot has certainly changed since then, but we rolled it out in January. And then in March, COVID-19 happened. And I probably should have had that like in flames or something. But then we reconvened in November of 2021. A capital campaign team was formed and was launched. I had done some silent fundraising in the January through March, and so we had some gifts committed, but then we did shut it down and did not have a public phase until really November 2021. In May of 2022, so we ran the campaign from November 21 to about May of 2022. The capital project budget was approved by session. And then in August of 2022, phase 1 began with the Smith Building demo of floor 1. It took some time because we moved away from the contractor that we hired. They weren't meeting our expectations. It wasn't a good fit. And so we hired another group that I'll talk about in just a moment to complete the Smith Building renovation. All the way from May of 22 to September 23, there was a lot of meetings, a lot of moving parts, a lot of session input, a lot of capital project team work where we introduced a pivot plan budget. And again, I'm going to talk about the pivot plan that's different than the original plan that emerged in January of 2020. Looking ahead just a little bit, particularly focused on the Smith Building. The Smith Building first floor will be delivered by the end of November of this month. That'll include the lobby. If you heard me at the earlier services, I said that the lobby is going to be closed for the next month, and I'll explain, and you'll get emails on how to navigate that part of the campus. But the Smith Building will be, that first floor in the lobby will be delivered November 20th. And then quarter 2-ish, the rest of the Smith Building will open. And I'm going to talk more about what that entails and what that looks like. So that's a very brief timeline. There's a lot of time that was spent in these arrows to get to this place. But I do want to give this sense that we've been at this for 7 years. And some of us a little bit even longer than that, but 7 years sort of as a whole congregation. Here are the campaign results. I'm delighted to share these with you. Pledges, we had 444 total pledges for the campaign, which is about half of our households, which is, I think, a pretty good statistic for a capital campaign, a pretty good response. We had $36.3 million pledged in this campaign, more than doubling any other campaign that we've ever done in the congregation. The average pledge that meant is $81,757 over a 5-year period. We had gifts that were as low as as $20 to our largest gift was $5 million. And so people participated, people gave as they felt called, and we're thankful for that. This is a really important number. The total that we've collected so far is just shy of 19 million. So we've collected more than half in about 2 years' time. 2022 to 2023, we have a 5-year payoff on the pledges. And so we feel we're in a really good place. In fact, we have not touched the bridge loan. We haven't borrowed anything from the bridge loan, so we're paying no interest at this time, even though that rate we locked in December of 2021 at 2.85%. And I'm going to say more about the loan in just a few minutes. So that's where we are with the campaign. In May of 2022, session authorized spending for the On the Way capital project not to exceed $45 million, okay? So the way that we were going to build that capital stack was this $36 million that we raised, $2 million of reserves, and you might remember this, and this was, I'm just going to be straightforward, this was one of the places where there was a little bit of dissonance within the congregation. Everything was cordial, everything was thoughtful, but do we want a loan to carry on after the bridge loan is done? And that gave a lot of us pause. And appreciate that. And we all have different views on loans and these kinds of things, but I just want to name that was something that was a little bit contentious, and there was some disagreement. So that was how we were going to build it. The session voted, I think, 16-1 to move forward with this budget, but when we brought it to the congregation for the congregational vote, there were no votes, and most of that was connected, I think all of it was connected to the loan, the desire not to have a loan that would be outstanding beyond the project, especially a loan where the rate would be renegotiated. And now thinking about that, where rates are, you'll be pleased with what I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. So the pivot budget was approved recently unanimously by the session at our September meeting. So session amended its May 2022 decision and authorized spending for the On the Way capital project not to exceed $38 million. The strategy regarding scope of work was site work around the campus, full renovation of the Smith building, which we're calling Phase 1, and we have called Phase 1, and a pivot plan that we're calling Phase 2 that we'll address in just a few moments. So the new capital stack is just going to use the $36 million that we've raised, minus $300,000, given maybe fluctuation in folks' giving. And then we do have reserves already allocated of about $2 million. Our goal is to not actually try to use the reserves. Our goal is to try to keep it in $36 million, but the session afforded the capital project team to work toward this $38 million loan. So this is the most important part about this piece and this slide. Session unanimously decided not to use the remainder loan available to us. Okay? So what we are doing, can I get an amen? All right. Yeah, good. Doug, can I get an amen? Yeah, all right, thank you. So we felt, given where things are with the market, with the project itself, with some of the pivots, that we felt like it was prudent and wise to restructure the budget and give the capital project team a new mandate within the framework of this capital stack. Does that make sense? So we will not have an outstanding loan when everything is completed. Okay. Now let me give you a Smith building update. This is an old computer model of the exterior of the Smith building. And I want to just walk through, just so everybody, and some of this will be redundant for folks, but I just want to walk through everything that's happening in the Smith building, because a lot is happening, okay, in this phase one. So Heritage Building Group was the group that we hired after we parted ways with J.E. Dunn. Heritage Building Group is a group that John McCall knew in his professional experience. He brought them to the committee, to the session. They strictly do interior renovation, where J.E. Dunn has a broader sort of scope in terms of their work, building new things. Heritage is exclusively focused on interior renovation. And it turns out that they have been an amazing fit for this part of the project because all of it is interior renovation, right? And so they've been on time. They've promised the delivery of November 20th. I'm going to show you some pictures in just a second. And it looks like it's going to happen for that first floor and the Smith lobby. So floor 1 delivered November 23, floors 2 through 4 delivered sometime end of first quarter or second quarter 2024. All right, let me go through each floor, and this is a little small, but I'm going to read each one. So on the first floor, we're going to have a pay-what-you-can food market with fresh food and also non-perishable food where people can come in, where they can pay what they can afford for a bag, and they can go through and literally grocery shop for what they need and their dietary needs and requirements. We're also going to have a respite area and phone charging station just where people can get their phones charged, get a cup of coffee, and have a little rest time. We're going to have 4 brand new showers. One of them is ADA accessible on this first floor. Showers won't be open all the time, but there'll be distinct hours for both men and women where they can utilize the showers. A brand new mail room. I think our mail team, is Trisha here? Where's Trisha? Okay. Hey, Trish, how many persons' mail do we have now? How many people's mail do we get?
About 750.
750 people's mail right now. And some of you, I see you, are mail sorters, which is a ministry of labor and love. So we're going to have a brand new mail room. We're going to have our foot care ministry. We're going to reconstitute our foot care ministry. We're going to have brand new renovated restrooms just for our friends and guests in that space. We're going to have our clothes closet still with washing machines and dryers. We're going to have a barber shop. We're going to reconstitute that. Let me go back. And that's the first floor. All right? So that's all Smith first floor is all going to be happening right there. You'll notice that first floor is sort of direct need, the immediate need, where second floor is going to be more of the long-term wraparound services that we provide with our case managers under the leadership of Tricia Pasuth. So private offices for case management and social work services, that's going to be on the second floor. There's going to be a computer lab up there. There's going to be offices for community ministry, staff, and volunteers. So this is going to be like, I saw Paul Dimmick here, the tax guys who come in and do taxes for folks. That's all going to be taking place on the second floor. Again, first floor is that immediate need, and then the second floor is the more long-term need where we're working with people on an individual level. The third floor will be offices, renovated offices and counseling rooms for the Samaritan Counseling Center of Atlanta. And I'm just super pleased. I'm not just saying this because I'm married to her, but I'm super pleased with Katie and the board of the counseling center because they are also contributing capital dollars to this project in a significant way. And we're grateful for that. Offices for Child Spring International will also be on that third floor. On the fourth floor is the Women's Transformation Center. We're going to reopen that when the time comes. We're still strategizing in terms of case management, application process. We're going to look at what we used to do and what we want to continue to do in the future. This rent-free housing for working women for 6 to 12 months. There's going to be 8 studio apartments and 1 family apartment. There's going to be actually a working kitchen in there that has a stove. There's going to be a dishwasher, a refrigerator, We want to create dignity and respect for these women so that they can cook and do things according to their own dietary needs, etc. And they'll have in each studio apartment a little mini fridge and a microwave as well. So let me show you, a new community. Oh, I just said that. Okay. All right, so this is the first floor. The actual flooring is in. It's not the taped brown part, but it's this sort of concrete-looking floor, very durable. This is looking towards the old bookstore with your back where B111 would have been. Okay, so that little door where it doesn't have a door on it, that's going to be Lincoln's office. That literally is on the other side of the Smith lobby where the door to the bookstore was. Okay, so that's Lincoln's office, one of our logistics coordinators, and that's where the food store is going to be set up. You can see just over the boxes that light coming in. Those are those doors that are right at the base of our campus, where the Smith building begins, so we can use those points of entry and exit for food store, the market as well. This is what a new shower is going to look like. The toilet, the fixtures are actually in. They came in after I took these pictures. There'll be a toilet on one side and the shower on the other, a little area where people can put their stuff, hooks where they can hang it, a really big space for these brand new showers. This is inside of the mailroom, and so looking out that little window, folks can line up outside there. We've got our mail workers working in there with boxes. It'll be secure. They can get their mail, come right through and get their mail at that window. This is the barber shop and the foot care ministry. The barber chair is going to be behind that wall to the left of the picture, and there's a little sink in that recessed area for the barber, and the foot care ministry is going to happen out in that open space. This is the second level of the Smith building. It's going to be the waiting room for when our case managers have clients they're going to see, or tax folks, or ID folks, or any other things that we might do. And what I should have said, let me just take a half step back. With our partners like Mercy Care, Partners for Home, they're going to have office space accessible to them as well. So our partners will come certain days of the week. The medical folks will see clients, patients, to do medical screening, medical care as well. So there'll be offices for our partners as well. But this will be the waiting room on the second floor. This is actually the inside of one of the studio apartments. And so there's this light with the windows. There's going to be, again, the bathroom is behind you as you look at this picture. And so this is one of our studio apartments. So as you can tell by the first few pictures of the first floor and the fourth floor, there's a lot of work. They're working their way up. And so again, the first floor will be delivered November 20th, and these subsequent floors will be delivered in the coming months. So I just want to highlight a couple things because this is going to be important for the pivot plan, to understand a little bit about what the impetus was, because it wasn't just about dollars. It was a lot about dollars, but also about where our growth areas have been since we started this process in 2016. So since 2016, we've had 190 baptisms. 190 baptisms. We've had 559 new members, which is about 30% of our current membership. 559 new members. We have cumulatively raised for our annual fund $26.1 million as a church. There's been, on average, during this time, 644 people in worship, both in person and online. Obviously, pre-COVID, it was much more heavy for people in person. And our online numbers continue to remain really strong, close to what we saw during COVID. People are, in fact, I saw somebody, I'm not going to out them, because they were getting ready for a trip. Their spouse said to me, oh, they're at home packing right now, but they're watching online today, right? We have that option now. We have that option. Currently, this is incredible. We have 400 children of members, infant through pre-confirmation, on our roll right now. When I got here in 2014, that number was 300. So we're now at 400 children of members, infant through pre-confirmation. The Sunday night youth group, I just want to, some of you don't know this, the youth group was in a really tough spot, to be candid. We weren't even having Sunday night youth group prior to COVID, 2018, 2019. Now there's 40 plus teenagers coming to youth group every Sunday night. A testimony to, I saw Rachel in here. Where's Rach? Back there, somewhere. Oh, she's making sandwiches. They're doing ministry, yes. Rachel and Ben have been incredible. The opening night, I think they had 50 kids when they kicked off this season. And then we have 6 adult Sunday school classes. Those classes have started to come back, and we're really excited for that energy that is around there. So I wanted to give you that data because it's important for understanding the pivot plan and what we're trying to accomplish here. So when it comes to the pivot plan with the budget, the Smith building, and this is about as accurate of data that we have right now. The hard costs, right? Construction, furniture, technology, equipment, all of that is about $7.5 million to do the whole thing, including the site work, okay? We're having an ADA accessible ramp off of 16th Street so that it can come. We have that ramp coming right down into that door off of 16th Street. That's where most of our guests and our clients will come, is off of that off of that little plaza area. Our soft costs, that's like design, all the permitting, etc., is $1.1 million, and then contingency is about $300,000 on that. So giving a total package of $8.9 million. Again, we don't have to touch our loan because we have $18 million on hand. Well, not 18 exactly, we've spent some, but we have cash on hand where we don't have to touch the loan. The pivot plan leaves us then, or what we have left for the pivot plan, is about $29 million. We want to spend on hard costs about $20.4 million. The soft costs are about $7 million because the design is the larger part of the campus, right, that we're talking about here. And the contingency is about $1.7 million. If things go wrong and we need more cash, that's what we're allocating. So this is the budget that the capital team is working with. All right, does that make sense? All right. So New South Construction was just hired about a month ago by the session to lead this construction project. Of course, we had bids from multiple developers, and New South seemed, according to the Spirit, to fit our goals and our priorities in the most sound way. And so session unanimously hired them back in September. So here's the pivot plan, and I have no drawings to show you because I'm not allowed, right, John McCall? I'm not allowed to show yet, because they're still being developed. Literally, our architects are working around the clock to get these these designs on paper. But I want to give you the highlights. So I'm going to talk about what the pivot plan, what Session has said the pivot plan is going to address. I'm not promising, I'm on video, so I'm saying this. I'm not promising that everything in here is going to get done. We have a budget, but we're going to try to get as much of this done as possible, okay? In order to do that, we had to move away from the brand new Fifield Hall. So originally, phase 2 was going to be a brand new Fifield and Commons, okay? We were priced out by about $10 million from our original budget. So the original budget was going to be about $55 million. So we were $10 million short. So obviously, we had to begin to think through this. John has led in a tremendous way in helping us think through what's possible. And one of the things that we said we can live with is Fifield Hall. If we have money, we want to touch it up. We want to make it, maybe a little fresher, a little new. Kitchen, Fifield is going to stay exactly the way it is. Okay? A modified Commons. We're going to try really hard to get that front door next to the Memorial Garden. It'll come right outside this hallway to come into a modified Commons. That was a priority for many of our givers, that we have this organic, centralized space where people can bump into each other outside of the 3 primary worship spaces, Fifield, Chapel, and the sanctuary. So we're still pushing for that modified commons and a front door. John McCall has been working on, and this isn't a done deal. Again, I'm on video. We're still working on it, but we've had some green lights, baby steps, to put a hawk crossing in the middle of Peachtree Street right here, or maybe a little bit down, so that you could park in our building, or our parking deck, cross at the crosswalk with these lights flashing, and come right into the front door. That's really great. It's really great. It's really great. John has single-handedly done that. And again, it's not a done deal. It's not a done deal. Did someone just say, don't die? Yeah, okay. Yeah, John, don't die. Don't die. But that crosswalk, it will be a game changer. It really will. If we can get that front door done and that crosswalk, it will change the way that you experience the campus. You're not even going to really be on the back side of the campus anymore because of the way in which you have real clear access from the parking deck. All right, brand new youth ministry space. I showed you the numbers. This is part of why I wanted to show you what's happening. Brand new youth ministry space, brand new children's space on the second floor. Adult education space. You remember this in the original plan? Where my office is, where the admin offices are, that first floor is going to be where all the adult education. No more elevators, no more stairs for everybody going to their Sunday school classes, okay? That's the goal. You should clap for that. Come on. I heard a lot about that. The brand new staff union, also part of our original plan, on the third floor. So the staff will have a consolidated space where all the vast majority of staff, excluding folks like community ministries, will be in the Smith building. Music folks will still be in their spot, but most of the staff will be in that staff union. Some new SFAs, School of Fine Arts space, new broadcast space, and just one other thing that's not on here. We're working, because it's a mandate, we have to have enough preschool classrooms to accommodate the preschool program, and that's happening in this plan as well. So that's a priority that we have to do. It goes without saying, or goes without being on the PowerPoint. So this is the pivot plan. This is what we're going to address. We'll roll out drawings when they're ready to be rolled out. But know that your team, that we're working on accomplishing as much of this as possible. It responds to the financial gap, and it responds to the growth areas of the church, which is really, really exciting. And so that is my presentation. Oops. And love to have some Q&A if you'd like. Chris, you getting a microphone? Yeah, thanks. Chris has a mic. And please do use the mic, because we believe that your voice is loud enough, but it just helps with everybody who's tuning in remotely. Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned medical care.
Yeah.
Will there be dental care? And then in the barber shop, is that for both men and women?
Yes,
or just men?
Barber, men and women. Hey, Trish, do we do any dental care, or had we done it?
We do not. We refer that out. And with our community partners, they'll be coming in and basically doing assessments with people and referring them to places where they actually have equipment and, thank you. And so with our community partners, they will be coming in and doing assessments with our community ministry friends, and then referring them out to specific agencies or doctors that can handle the medical needs. But people will be able to get mental health assessments, minor things like blood pressures, blood sugars, things like that.
Great, thanks, Trish.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hold on back. Yeah, I want everybody to hear it. So, yeah, and then Jack.
The Mercy Care Clinic at the MLK MARTA stop has 12 dental chairs now, and Mercy Care is one of our partners.
Right.
So that's a great referral.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
I was just going to add that Gateway has
2 dental chairs, 3 days a week.
All right, so we have 13, does that, 10, 12, 13, 14? All right, thank you. Thanks, Jack. Melissa. Chris, you're getting your workout. You don't have to do your 10-mile run today.
Is the design still anticipated to be open on Peachtree and welcoming?
Correct.
And contain all those features that were originally in it?
Yeah, so the site work, so when we say site work, we're talking about everything around the campus, right? The entry points, et cetera. All of that will get done. That's a priority. ADA accessibility, that openness. This part won't look like the original drawings, which are amazing, but we will have a glass type of welcoming type of entrance in that little, quarter tower that comes right behind the ladies' room. Henry.
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions. On the bridge loan,
Yeah.
is there an unused fee on the bond, on the commitment?
No.
So there's no unused fee?
Thanks. Oh, good. I was looking for my people. Thanks, Mark. Mark's going to answer all the financial questions.
Negotiation point, so congratulations. Could you go back to the first floor services real quick?
Yeah.
Because a number of those are new for the church.
Yeah.
How is the staff going to handle these?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to do it with current staff? Are you going to have to hire staff? Are you going to have to ramp up the volunteers? And if so, what's the plan to bring the congregation to these services?
Henry, you know the answer.
I'm not a plant.
I know. You're not a
Yeah.
plant, but I'm glad you asked that. Kim, did you nudge him? Yeah, no, it's good. Because there is an answer to that, which I'm really pleased to share. And I shared a little bit. I didn't give you details of when we were talking about with Kate Culver's departure. We had a wonderful conversation with leadership. Katie Sundermeyer is part of that, Kim Grady, and Kristen Holtz, who are chairs of the Community Ministries, and then the broader Community Ministries team, talking about what are some of the staff needs in Community Ministries, especially as we think about this building being opened. So our hope, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but this is really important for Community Ministries, but our hope is that in January-ish, we launch a pastoral search for a pastor of engagement, which will be women's ministry. You can see where we're going with this. Women's ministry, connections ministries, like new members, et cetera, our ecumenical partners, and pastoral ministry, teaching, preaching, worship leadership. And then separately in Community Ministries, we are going to have a parallel position to Tricia, okay? That's going to be called, Sessions approved this, it's going to be called the Director of Operations for Community Ministries, okay? So the Director of Community Ministries is Tricia. She directs all the case management and one-to-one direct service and collective service to our guests and our clients. The operations person is going to run the operation of the Smith Building, of the programming that is outside of case management, is going to do volunteer recruitment and volunteer training. And this was a need that we've identified, Kim, multiple years ago. And to really distinguish these two areas of need in Community Ministries. We need the direct services, but we also need somebody who's going to run the show, run the operations, so that Trish doesn't have to do the operational side. I mean, there's some operational, obviously, with her supervision and case management, but she can focus exclusively on our neighbors. And the operations person is going to be the person who has the broader view of Community Ministries, volunteers, programming, etc. There'll be a lot of training that's going to need to happen, as Henry alluded to in his question, and that's the person we expect will do it. A search committee has been formed. They launch their work at the end of this month. And Katie Sundermeyer is supporting pastorally community ministries in this season.
Thank you. The other point was there was a line item about the Fifield Hall area and the kitchen would not be touched.
Meaning like we wouldn't tear it down.
Right.
Yeah.
In anticipation of the old plan,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of deferred maintenance.
Yes.
Both behind these walls and doors here, and also chairs and tables, and that would need to be a budget item as well eventually.
Let me speak very clearly about that, Henry. And I'm trying to stay in sort of the fact, not feeling area right here. Absolutely, there's deferred maintenance. That's a fact. There's stuff that doesn't work in the kitchen. The question that we're wrestling with right now, and will be as a session, is where does that money come from? Does it come from the capital project that we've just raised? Or does it come from another funding source that we already have? Our property management reserve fund, do we leverage that? But I'll tell you, as of right now, this is just a fact, as of right now, the capital project team is not thinking about the kitchen because that hasn't been their mandate. The session's going to need to think about the kitchen. But as of all of this material that we're covering, that's not part of the capital project team's scope right now. Let's get Margaret a mic. Right up here, Barry. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick question.
Sure.
Have y'all had an estimate of what it would cost to get the kitchen back up and running?
No. No, don't. We know what's broken. Well, we don't know. But yeah, we just haven't done that yet. But it's a great question. And we will know soon. Yeah. Susan.
Thanks. I'm not sure if you mentioned this. I don't think I heard it. But what is the timeline on the pivot plan?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So we've hired New South, so we know that they're going to be our developer. We do not have construction documents done yet, so we're still working on this. We can't imagine, and John, give me the hook on this if I'm off, but I don't think we're thinking about the physical construction of pivot plan until late third quarter 2024? Middle of December? Summer. Sorry, middle of summer. So ballparking that. Thank you. Goal is December. So the goal is this. Yeah. The goal is December 2025. There's not. OK Cafe doesn't have enough sweet tea to keep John going. Unsweet, sorry. So it's this summer, and then December of 2025 delivery. Any other questions? Hold on, let's give John a mic just so he can.
The reason I won't let him show drawings is because we're in the state of flux to make sure that we got it laid out to meet all the primary constraints that have to be met. And if we give you a plan today, it'll be changed by tomorrow. And so I don't want to create a path that then everybody's like, wait a minute, you said this was going to be here. So, but what we're working on is literally what we call the 1929 building. But it's a building that it's the administration wing plus a 1960s wing. And so we're moving things around. But if you go back to the original master plan and you look at those drawings, it's pretty close to that. I mean, it'll be really, really close to that set of drawings. It actually is fitting. Now, what we are doing is validating, do we have enough money? And that's why we're telling you that Fifield Hall really can't be touched. Because if you all of a sudden drag into another space, we really will get out of whack again, and then we're just delaying again. So we want to try to stay focused, make something happen, roll out of Smith into another exciting renovation that supports the growth of the church where we're growing. And then if God believes we ought to do something else, then he'll show up with some more money, and we'll go do something else.
Is that Spalding? I'm in a bad light. Yeah. Spalding,
Hey, Tony,
thank you.
I just
Yeah.
had a quick question about the Arts Center station. I know
Yeah.
for years, recently, they had talked about building on top of that space, transforming that whole area. I know with potentially the church under construction, do you know if there's any deadlines or anything they're working on back there?
It's a great question. And there's at least 3 people in this room whose companies have been in conversation on this private-public venture, and I think they've all fallen through. I got a head nod from one of them. So at this time, there are no concrete plans with any developer doing a private-public partnership on Arts Center. Barbara. And Barbara, you're going to be the last one, and then everybody else, you can email me because it's 10:46. Thanks, Barbara.
Will we have new elevators?
Yes. Yeah, good question. Sorry. Yes. So there's going to be a brand new Smith. Let John answer this because he'll do it in a better way. Barbara, thank you. I should have put this on here.
So the Smith elevator is being completely removed and replaced with a new gurney-size elevator that will then provide us access to all 4 floors of the Smith building with a new, so that meets our stated principle that we wanted life safety, healthcare, accessible elevators for the whole campus. This north elevator, which we call Elevator 1, will be renovated on the inside, and the systems will be modernized, is the term utilized. But it'll still be the same box. We can't actually expand the shell for that, so we're stuck with that for forever. In the new Commons pivot plan, there is a goal to add an elevator 2, and that would be a new elevator centrally located to allow vertical transportation from 1 to 3 in the central core of the campus. And that way, so similar to our original master plan, there was an elevator 2. We've actually kind of relocated it so it'd be in the new box, easier to perform, easier to get it in, therefore should be less costly. And so we're making that headway. But yes, when Smith opens, you got a brand new elevator. So.
Great. Great question. All right. Hey, thanks, everyone. Go to church if you haven't gone to church. And if you're going home, safe travels. Thank you, everybody.